we need to talk about the biggest magic trick the British press ever pulled, and how one man decided to saw the illusion in half. For years we've been fed a narrative, a carefully constructed, palace-approved, media-distributed story about Prince Harry, the rogue prince, the spoiled spare, the man who betrayed his family for fame. But what if I told you that the very outrage directed at his book Spare was the ultimate proof that he was telling the truth? That the fury wasn't about what he said, but that he was the one saying it. Today, we're not dealing in gossip, we're laying out receipts. This is about control, about narrative, and about a man who finally said, "My conscience is clear, and by the end of this, yours will be too." Let's get one thing straight from the jump. Harry himself said it. His memoir is not a book of revelations. It is, and I quote, "a series of corrections to stories already out there." Let that sink in. He wasn't revealing new secrets. He was taking stories that the press had already profited from for years and simply telling his side, his version, the full truth. And for that, the same machine that built him up tore him down. Let's look at the proof. From the very moment Prince Harry entered the world, his story was shaped not by his own choices, but by the expectations and imaginations of others. Even as a newborn, he was thrust into the spotlight, his every move watched and recorded, his life already a subject of public fascination. The media quickly crafted a persona for him, the party prince, the charming rogue, the royal rebel. It was a simple, profitable character, one that sold papers and drew attention regardless of the truth behind the image. This narrative was repeated so often that it became almost impossible to separate the myth from the man. Newspapers flew off the shelves, online clicks soared, and the real Harry, the complex, evolving person, was lost behind a wall of sensational headlines and relentless coverage. The media machine had found its golden ticket, and it wasn't about to let go. The subtle, painful nuances of a young boy grieving his mother were brushed aside, replaced by stories that prioritized drama over empathy. The world watched, but few truly saw the child behind the spectacle. Every misstep, every youthful mistake was magnified into a scandal. The public devoured the drama, hungry for the next headline, rarely pausing to consider the human cost behind the spectacle. But a person isn't a character, and a real life isn't a storyline crafted for entertainment. Behind the headlines was a young man struggling to find his place, his identity, and his peace. While the world consumed this carefully constructed version of Harry, he faced not only his own grief, but also the relentless scrutiny and pressure, the very same forces that once haunted his mother, Princess Diana. The media's creation became a heavy burden, one he was forced to carry for years. The weight of expectation and judgment pressed down, shaping his every public move. The disconnect between the real person and the public persona only grew deeper with time. The more the world watched, the more invisible the true Harry became. The public was encouraged to judge, to comment, to criticize, but rarely to pause and understand. The conversation was about him, not with him. Eventually, after years of silence and endurance, Harry decided he could no longer remain quiet. He chose to speak out, to reclaim his own story, and to show the world the person behind the headlines. To understand Harry's predicament, look at how the press treated his stories. His military service was heroic when told by others, but controversial when told by him. After the Queen's death, the press speculated endlessly, but when Harry shared his own experience, he was accused of disrespect. The same with his rift with Prince William. Rumours sold papers, but his own account was called betrayal. The facts didn't change, only the storyteller did. This double standard reveals a troubling truth. Harry's life was public property as long as he stayed silent. The media could say anything, but when he spoke for himself, he crossed a line. He was allowed to be the subject, never the author. The rules were always different for him. The monarchy and the media are locked in a delicate dance. Each needs the other. The palace relies on the press for relevance. The press gets stories and access in return. But when a royal steps out of line, the alliance shows its true power. Information is traded, stories are shaped, and public opinion is managed behind the scenes. Harry often found himself on the losing side of this invisible machinery. Friendly journalists are rewarded, critics are shut out. The stories we receive are curated to protect the institution. When Harry and Meghan pushed back, the machine turned on them, painting them as destructive to protect the status quo. This is the core of it, my darlings. This is the awakening. For decades, the system worked like this. The palace plants a story, a half-truth, a distortion, an outright lie, through unnamed aides and courtiers. The press publishes it, no questions asked, and makes a profit. The narrative is set. The public believes it. What Spare did was bypass that entire system. Harry spoke in his own voice, not through a courtier, not through an aide close to the prince, not through a friendly biographer, his voice directly to us. And that voice is a threat. It cuts through the noise, it exposes the machinery. The media's grip on the story of Harry and Meghan was their most profitable asset. He didn't just correct the record, he broke their monopoly. As we end, remember, Harry's story is a mirror for our world. It asks us to question who tells the stories we consume and why. Are we hearing truth or just a crafted narrative? Wisdom asks us to listen for the quieter, authentic voice. Harry's journey shows the power of reclaiming your own story. So when you see the fury, the think pieces, the moral panic over what he revealed, remember this: they aren't mad about the stories. They're mad they no longer own them. Harry said it best himself recently in Kyiv. He said, one point of view had been put out and it needed to be corrected. That's all this was. A correction, a reclamation, an act of taking back a life story that was being written, edited and sold by everyone but the man who lived it. His conscience is clear because he finally told the truth, the whole truth. Not a leak, not a spin, not a half-truth sold to the highest bidder. The question now, my darlings, isn't about whether you believe Harry. The question is, why did we ever believe anything else? If we respect hard-won truth, we've learned a valuable lesson indeed. It's time to wake up, see the machine, and give the man his truth back.